This is Dave Work with your Ag Market News Reporter with your week ending August the 10th. This week, cattle, there was 3,117 reported as compared to 3,096 last week and 4,753 a year ago. Compared to last week, slaughter steers sold about $1 to $3 higher. Actually, all slaughter cattle was about $1 to $3 higher. Cows were about $2 to $3 higher this week, and bulls were steady to $1 higher. Steers high choice and prime were 114 to 120.50, choice 111 to 115.50, selects were about 104 to 108.50. Holstein steers high choice and prime were $1 to $1.0650. Choice Holsteins were 95 to 101.50 and selects were 86 to 93. Heifers high choice and prime were 111.50 to 117.50. Choice was 104 to 110. Wasn't a lot of heifers around this week. Cows breakers 74 to 80.50. Boner 71 to 76, and lean was 64 to 70. On the slaughter cows this week, I think we saw prices going up as the week went on. Friday sales had jumped quite a bit. Feeder cattle, there was a few feeder cattle sales around this week. Steers medium and large frame 1 3 to 500 pounds. I really didn't have a test on those. 5 to 700 pounders though were 149 to 153. Medium and large frame 2s 3 to 500 pounds about 112.50 to 142.50. 5 to 700 pounds were 101 to 123. Heifers 3 to 500 pounds were 127 to 142. 5 to 700 pounds were 107 to 127, and medium large 2s 3 to 500 pounds were 112.50 to 140. 5 to 700 pounders were 109 to 120. Bulls medium and large frame 1 3 to 500 pounds were 122 to 159. 5 to 700 pounds were 111 to 127. Bulls number 2s 3 to 500 pounds were 97 to 112. 5 to 700 pounders were 72 to 97. Calves this week, there was 3,021 compared to 2,938 last week and 3,259 a year ago. Bull calves, Holsteins over 95 pounders sold mostly steady to $5 lower this week. Lighter calves traded mostly steady. Heifers were also about steady. Number 1 Holstein bull calves 95 to 125 pounds or 105s to 135. 80 to 90 pounders were 80 to 107. There's not a lot of movement on those right now with corn prices where they are. Number 2s 95 to 120 pounders 85 to 120. 80 to 90 pounders were 50 to 80. And again, those lightweight calves, a lot of those were going for dairy beef programs. And again, with corn prices where they are, that market has slowed down quite a bit. Number 3s 80 to 120 pounders were $50 to $85. Holstein heifers 84 to 105 pounds were 110 to 170. Number 2s were 60 to 125. Hogs this week was 1,236 head compared to 1,466 last week and 1,382 a year ago. Barrels and gilts were mostly steady, and sows were about $1 to $2 lower this week. 49 to 54% lean hogs, 67 to 69. 45 to 49% leans were about 63 to 65.50. 3 to 500 pound sows, again a drop, they were down to 28.50 to 30. 5 to 700 pounds were 34 to 36.50. Lambs and sheep this week, there was 1,278 compared to 2,121 last week and 2,070 a year ago. Compared to last week, lambs were about $10 to $20 higher. Sheep were about $10 to $15 higher. Choice lambs, 40 to 60 pounders, about 158 to 174. 60 to 80 pounders were 130 to 174, and 80 to 110 pounders were about $1 to $1.42. Good ewes, 120 to 160 pounders were 64 to 88. 160 to 200 pounders were 70 to 78 this week. Utilities were about $48 to $64 on ewes. And goats this week, there was 1,164 compared to 3,564 last week and 2,599 a year ago. Kids selection 1s from 40 pounds up to 80 pounds, I really didn't have a test. It was a pretty light run on those this week. 80 to 100 pounders were 114 to $130. Selection 2s, 60 to 80 pounders were 80 to $92 a head. 80 to 110 pounders were 100 to $108. Selection 3s, 40 to 60 pounders were 48 to $56. Selection 1 nannies, 80 to 130 pounders, 122 to $135. Selection 2s, same weights, were about 88 to $110. Selection 3s, 50 to 80 pounders, were $58 to $78. And Selection 1 billies, 100 to 150 pounders, were $133 to $155. Heavier Selection 2s, 150 to 250 pounders, were about $135 to $152. And then up to 250 pounders were $240 to $260. A few weathers around this week also. Selection 2's 100 to 150 pounders about $135 to $152. This is Dave Wirt from Ag Market News. Have a good week.